Thank you, Chairperson. Dr. Maxwell Kwazilamba, Commissioner of Economic Affairs of the African Union, representative of the government of Ethiopia, Excellencies, participants, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I am pleased to welcome you to Addis Ababa for this fifth meeting of the Committee of Experts of the African Union Conference of Ministers of Economy and Finance and the ECA Conference of Ministers of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. Our meeting continues to occupy an important place in the annual calendar of meetings as the place where the expert point of view on key topics in Africa's development agenda is formulated. And this year we are really particularly pleased by the high turnover of senior officials from member states, and we really commend you for your continued commitment, and we look forward to very meaningful discussions and deliberations with you over the next few days, particularly when your ministers also join us. This year, we are fortunate to be holding the first major meeting in this magnificent AU Conference Center after it was formally opened for use during the January 2012, this year's African Union Summit. For us, we continue to cherish our collaboration with the African Union Commission. I will not go into details of this collaboration, but I think my good friend and colleague, Dr. Kwazilamba, did give you a quite and appreciable overview of the various areas in which we have been involved over the past year. And in this, I really salute himself, Dr. Kwazilamba, because I think, in addition to Dr. Ping and the other commissioners who really believe in this partnership, I think for this particular set of activities, I think we owe a lot of gratitude to Kwazilamba, to his commitment, his professionalism, and his willingness really to partner with us to accompany your efforts of member states in dealing with Africa's development challenges. The building in which we are meeting, this magnificent edifice, symbolizes in many ways the unfolding story of our continent. Although our overview of economic and social conditions shows that overall growth in the continent was 2.7% last year, down from nearly 4.6% in 2010. This was mainly due to the political upheavals in North Africa. The rest of the continent, in spite of drought and associated challenges, grew at about the same level as the previous year. This respectable performance continued to be derived from increasing domestic demand, good economic management, high and rising commodity prices. However, the experience of North Africa goes to show that these factors are not enough and that improved governance remains central to economic and social transformation. Africa's growth performance is all the more remarkable in the face of continued global economic uncertainty occasioned by the sovereign debt crisis in the Eurozone, huge global imbalances, high unemployment, and widespread social unrest triggered by the pains of adjustment and fiscal retrenchment. Moreover, we cannot ignore the reality that Africa continues to face numerous challenges. Poverty and inequality continue very much part of the social and economic fabric of most of your countries, and the specter of high food and fuel prices is again with us at a time of possible drought and famine in the Sahel. African countries also have very close trade, monetary aid, and investment ties with Europe, and will certainly be negatively affected by further deterioration of conditions in the Eurozone. In spite of these well-known facts, it is evident that given its improved prospects and the extent of its untapped potentials, Africa provides an opportunity for the world as a place where investments can be made to boost demand and to help reduce global imbalances. Thus, our theme this year, Unleashing Africa's Potential as a Pole of Global Growth, is timely. Of course, in order to successfully achieve this objective, our continent must rise to meet its domestic, regional, and global challenges and undertake carefully calibrated policy responses and actions. These considerations continue to guide ECA's work over the past 1 year and indeed continue to guide the collaboration between your three Pan-African institutions, the African Union Commission, the African Development Bank, and indeed the Economic Commission for Africa. To start with, we must have a clear vision of where Africa should be headed and build the necessary capacity to accompany the process of development and transformation. This is why the African Institute for Economic Development and Planning, IDEP, based in Dakar, has been the locus of our efforts to rapidly upscale capacity needs for planning and development management. And I'm pleased to report that the UN General Assembly last year signaled strong support for our efforts by tripling the statutory allocation to the Institute in these austere times. And for this, we are particularly grateful to Ambassador Tomo Mente of the Republic of Cameroon, who chaired the Fifth Committee and who really spearheaded these efforts of increased support to IDEP. In a similar context, and following up on last year's discussion of governing development in Africa, we have been assisting several member states to restore planning frameworks. The panel discussion on Africa 2050 during the ministerial session will lend further momentum to this process. Mr. Chairman, the Millennium Development Goals remain a vital objective of our countries, and we continue to monitor and track progress in the annual report produced with our partners, notably the African Union Commission, the ADB, and indeed UNDP. And the current report shows that African countries are making steady progress across various areas. However, this is not enough, as the year 2015 is almost upon us, and the attainment of the goals remains central to Africa's transformation agenda. Accordingly, we have been working on a post-2015 development agenda, bearing in mind that the MDGs remain important, and any new framework should take account of them by building on their strengths and addressing perceived inadequacies. One particular area deserving of more attention is unemployment, especially of the youth. Positive growth rates have not been marked by increases in job creation, and in some cases, youth employment is over 20%. This is a serious situation, given that the youth are the bulk of Africa's population, and this concern has reflected in the technical paper we produced on youth employment policies for the consideration of African labor ministers. We also undertook policy research on social protection, especially from a gender-sensitive perspective. The creation of more jobs will depend ultimately on increasing productive activities, be it in agriculture, industry, or services. Several activities were therefore taken over the past 12 months within the context of the AU-ECA-AFDB Land Policy Initiative. We are similarly obliged to invest efforts in upscaling education and skills acquisition that is relevant to the modern era. We are currently launched the African e-learning initiative and a number of science, technology, and innovation networks in the course of last year. It is in the same context that we are giving pride of place to the award of the 2012 Innovation Prize for Africa during the ministerial meeting, and we'll have an opportunity to explain to you what this initiative is all about, which we salute. All our best efforts in designing appropriate policies will need to be accompanied by financial resources if they are to have desired impact, which is why we organized a highly successful forum on financing development in May last year.